Hi, my name is Thomas Gibbs with US Franchise Visa. Thank you for being on the episode today. I've got Kristen Colucci with Instant Imprints, the Executive Vice President of Franchise Development, and is in ownership of the brand for the last 10 years. His background includes 8 years in Best Buy and in the IT and consumer electronics industry. Loves food, wine, camping, the great outdoors, and spending time with his children. Thank you for being on the call today.
Hi, Tom. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, hey, tell us in general the who, what, when, where of the opportunity in franchising for an E-2 visa in America with Instant Imprints.
Sure. So I'll just a little bit of history and backgrounder on the company. I wasn't smart enough to come up with the idea. We kind of bought it. The business was actually started. It was a mom and pop franchise originally that was predominantly a screen printing and embroidery business. It started back in 2002 with a Russian family, and then we didn't really get involved in this thing till about 2008, when my partner Ralph Asgar, who at the time was the CEO and master licensee for the UPS store here in Canada. And prior to that time, he was a master for them in the UK, in Colorado, Wyoming, Montana. He eventually came up to Canada and owned the master for the UPS store. And that's when we came across the master for this particular opportunity. And so we were getting pretty full on the UPS store side. So we acquired this master. It was very, very complementary to that business. It was similar investment dollars, similar size spaces, similar customer set in the small to medium business. So we got involved with it. I came into the fold about a year later, just as we were getting our pilot store up and running. And that's when I made my investment in the business, and we haven't looked back. We quickly opened 4 or 5 stores, and then wanted to let the model rest and just see how it actually worked in our country to make sure it worked okay, and did some debugging. And after a couple of years, we actually weren't super enamored with the original founders, so we acquired them and took them out, and we've been growing ever since. We've completely redesigned the brand. We've got just over 70 locations now between the two countries. Every year, our unit economics get better and better. It's really growing the right way and doing a lot of what we want. But since we've owned it, we've increased our franchise support. We've probably got one of the best training programs in the entire industry. It's very business development focused. What you'll find with a lot of franchise systems is they teach you a lot about what happens when a customer walks into your door. They don't teach you a whole lot about how you get them there in the first place, and how do you make them give you money. And that's a big reason why you're buying a franchise, is to know that. So we train a lot on that kind of stuff with our franchise partners. We're also, 2 years ago, we started a stock program for our franchisees. So we're probably the only brand you will actually find where when you join our brand, we actually make you partners in our parent company. So we've put aside 10% of our organization for our franchisees. So you will actually get the same common voting stock that I get. We give every franchisee up to 10,000 shares for every license they have. So if you own 3 stores, you can get up to 30,000 shares of the company free. Really, really cool. Makes a very, very different franchise environment, because our owners they don't see each other as a threat. So they're very collaborative. We've got a really open and transparent franchise system. It's pretty unique and different for sure.
Awesome. That's really unique. You really don't hear about that much out there. I know a lot of people that are watching this call right now are probably looking at a lot of different opportunities to get to America. And I think you'd be pretty hard pressed to find more than a small handful of franchises that are like that. So that's really great. So how does that tie into the mission and the vision that you guys have, and what you guys are trying to achieve to impact?
Well, I'm going to paraphrase our mission rather than give you the big long 5-sentence version of it. if I paraphrase the mission and what we really are about, we want to create such an awesome business that our franchisees and our vendors can't stop talking about how great it is, right? We want our franchisees to tell every one of their friends, relatives, you name it, you got to own one of these because it's an awesome business. That's really our approach to how we come at it. So, I think you'll find for us, we really want to grow our business. We've probably got capacity in the U.S. for about 3,000 locations, but over the medium term, over the next 5 or 6 years, we'd really like to see between 300 and 500 locations is what we can do. We'll probably do about 25 this year, and we'll be looking to do 40, 45 next year, and really kind of double our growth pattern each year. Once a brand starts to really get busy and get a bit of notoriety, it gets pretty hot and it goes pretty fast. And we're set to really be able. We've got a lot of our pieces in place to be able to scale pretty fast. So we're pretty excited about where our business is today.
Awesome. Well, that's really exciting. The growth that you guys are having and planning for is going to help that many more entrepreneurs live the American dream.
Well, that's the whole plan, right? You don't do this for a charity. Although sometimes it might feel that way when you get started, right?
Yeah.
If you've ever started a business before, it can feel that way sometimes. But the unit economics on our model are very good. We have an average transaction of a little over $350, which is really good. We have really strong gross margins. The business is very much repeat based, so we get about 75% of our business is repeat business. And it's business to, so it's and where you're dealing with other business owners too.
Wonderful. Okay, so I think you said that about 65 to 70% of the business is business to business.
Oh, yeah, it's probably about 80% is business to business. That's about 75% repeat rate.
Wonderful.
So it's got a high propensity for repetition. One of the great things about our business is business owners buy a lot of our stuff with the express purposes of giving it away to buy more of it, which is really great.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about some of the products that we would be selling as a franchisee.
So for us, we're really the only full service promotional marketing business that's out there. We've got, we're one of the very few brands where we manufacture most of our own categories. So we can make most of our own signage and wide format printing and banners. We do our own embroidery, so we can make custom clothing. We do our own t-shirt decoration. We can do a lot of our own paper printing, so business cards, flyers, letterheads, as well as marketing merchandise. So any of your promotional items that people put their logos on, USB keys, bags, hats. So we do all that sort of mundane, trinkety stuff, but we also do the really interesting big ticket stuff. So we do car graphics and vehicle wraps. We do large trade show displays. If you've ever go into any nice restaurants, you'll see like the big wall murals on the wall that are 10 feet high by 20 feet long. Looks like custom wallpaper and big murals like that. We make all of that stuff. Break down to little tiny stickers and labels that go down with, for packaging companies. We can do all sorts of crazy stuff. The neat part about it is every order is custom. So you can really get into some interesting categories with the customers once you start to understand where their opportunities are and what they're looking for. They need to use every one of our categories, which is amazing. Where we're exclusive is we're the only ones that do it all. There's entire franchise systems that just do signage. There's entire franchise businesses that just do embroidery or t-shirts. And there's other ones that just do printing and promotional. We're the only ones that actually do all of it under one roof. And I'm a big believer that it's a lot easier to sell more to one customer than it is to have a whole bunch of different customers.
Yeah.
Right.
Wonderful. So would you say then that as a franchisee, that in a way you're becoming like a marketing consultant almost?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. Right. We're really kind of a little mini marketing business and a light manufacturer all in one. So we've got a little production studio with a little mini marketing agency tied right to the back. And the whole idea, like our sweet spot in terms of our target customer, we handle businesses of all shapes and sizes, but our sweet spot, our target customer is that medium-sized business or that small business that's anywhere from 20 to 75 to 100 people, right? Like that could be a decent-sized plumber, a good-sized landscaper, an electrician. That's not a huge company by any stretch of the imagination, but that's our sweet spot for who we really target.
Awesome. Okay. So if it, now that we understand the business model, do we have to have experience in that to become a franchisee?
No, please don't. It's not, I shouldn't say that. That's not the case. It's just, when we're talking, I guess when we're talking specifically about people who are in E-2 who are, say, moving into the country and immigrating into the country, you don't have to have experience. We can teach you a lot of that stuff. That stuff's pretty teachable. We don't do anything here that's that world beating that it's, we don't need, we're not launching rockets into space here. We put logos on shirts and signs and cars and things like that. It's not that difficult. What's really important is for our franchisees to have a strong sense of community, to have a high level of engagement with their business community and the business customers, not being afraid to get out of the four walls of the center and go talk to clients. We got to be so customers are going to ask us for things, and we've got to be comfortable saying, "Yeah, we can figure out how to help you make that." The real joy in the business is when you can really nail something for a customer, and they get all excited and gush because you made a custom product for them, and they just love it. And those are the kind of those moments of truth where you really know that you did a great job for the customer. So it's more you got to have that commitment to service and commitment to engagement. That's really what we look for.
Okay. So we don't have to have a degree in marketing or
No.
a consulting background. What
Nope.
we're really looking for is someone that's going to provide the customer service and
Yep.
ultimately, put that product together. So
Correct. We can teach skills here, right? How to do stuff, how to use the equipment, how to make things. We can teach all of that. That's really, we've got accounting services. We've got all sorts of great services and support for the franchisees. What we can't teach and what you got to bring is you got to bring the attitude, the heart, the work ethic. We can teach you stuff, but I can't teach you attitude, heart, and work ethic. You got to be willing to do the work.
yeah, that's absolutely the truth. We at US Franchise Visa, we work with folks all across the globe and find that a lot of folks have the desire to make a change in their life, to bring their family to a better country. But when the rubber really hits the road, sometimes it's challenging to put that burden, so to speak, on your shoulders of really driving a customer service culture and knowing that ultimately they're responsible, right, Christian?
Absolutely. I mean, it's no easy task to move to another country to begin with, right? There's cultural differences you usually have to deal with. There's a whole suite of other personal challenges that come with it. But when you own a business, I mean, ultimately, the ownership of that business is on the operator. So the franchisee has to be willing to do the work. One of the great things about a country like the U.S. or even in Canada, I would say, they're both really, really great countries and countries that's pretty easy to make money in. They're not so easy to keep money in. And if you've ever owned a business before, there's a big difference between making money and keeping money. And a business allows you to have the opportunity to shelter some wealth, to be able to keep money and accumulate and grow, but you have to do the work, right? Just because you stick a sign on your door, you're not entitled to anything. It's a competitive industry. It's a large industry. It's a dynamic industry, and it's a lot of fun. It's creative, it's engaging, it's mentally stimulating. It's not boring. You'll always have new things, and there's lots of stuff to see and do and figure out. It's a complete business. It's really exciting. But I can't do the work for you. We can't be in your shop to run it for you. You got to run your business.
Thank you for clarifying that. And that's really important. So tell us about the training, the support, what initial training looks like, how long it is, and then what's going to happen, year 1, year 2.
Oh, sure.
As we're going through, our visa and the renewal process. How's the support there, all the way from, the initial training to the ongoing?
Well, I think our training and support's pretty fantastic. I would say for any of the candidates, when they start to get into this process a little bit more of doing their validation, I would encourage any of them to start to talk to our franchisees once things get moving, because they're the ones who are really going to tell you what it's like. But our initial training, for instance, starts as a 6-week initial training program. So you'll spend 1 week pre-training, shadowing in a center. Then you'll come to our San Diego headquarters for your classroom training, which is about 8 days. And that training is really focused predominantly on business development. It's focused mostly on client acquisition, business management, accounting, that kind of stuff. You'll then come back and spend a couple of weeks working in another center in one of our certified training stores to learn the operations of the business, get familiar with how interacting with customers, what happens, how does our equipment work, how do we make things. Then once your store is ready to soft open, we send one of our team, pardon me, into your center to spend another week with you and your team to make sure your store is set and staged and ready to go, and that your staff know how to use everything, and that all your equipment's working right, the store is imaged the right way. And then we're going to let you sit for a couple of weeks. After you've, we'll still be in touch with you every day or every other day to make sure things are going right, but we're going to let you sit for a couple of weeks before we start our Fast Start program, which is really a 4 or 5 month mentoring and coaching program through your critical startup phase to make sure that all the stuff we did at training, your marketing action plan and your business plan, is all coming together and it's being implemented, and you're doing all the right activities to help you kind of be your primary cheerleaders and help you be the one who holds you accountable to yourself. And that goes on anywhere from 4 months to as long as you want. It can go on for years. You can have a weekly call with us anytime. We like being able to do that. In addition, we help with your site selection and lease negotiation. If you're moving to the country, you probably you're not expected to know what our real estate needs are and what a great location looks like. Let us help do that with you so that we can set you up for success. Real estate's a big chunk of where your costs are. We want to get that right. We have an accounting service for our stores so that you don't have to worry about accounting. Your accounting will get done for you. We do regular conventions. We do financial management. We've got a lot of, we do regular visitations for the stores. We've got local representation in many, many markets. So you can, you'll have somebody right in your local market across town, even, to be able to sit down and have coffee with and, discuss the business as a partner. And again, because everybody's a shareholder, you don't get that sort of NIMBYism or view that your fellow franchisees are competitors. They're not. They're all there to help each other. We've also got a really slick app for your phone to help with your support and right on your cell phone. We're also plugged in today's day and age. We've got a really cool app called Workplace where our franchisees can post any questions. I need this product. How do I make this? How would I price this? I've got this kind of a job. You'll get answers from franchisees within minutes all across North America, or from one of us here at the office. So it's just a great way for our franchisees to bring the diverse space that that they deal with down to something they can, have a real personal online community right within, makes a huge, huge difference. Those are just a few of the things we do. We do a lot.
Well, yeah, that's a lot of support. That's impressive. I'm glad to hear that there's so many different facets that you guys work with throughout the onboarding and ongoing. That's pretty unique, So, I know that I would want that coming to America, to have all of that support and really continue on. The power just went out here, in case you didn't notice.
I was wondering what was going on.
It got very dark. There is tremendous thunderstorm basically go.
Oh, hi. Hey, good to see you.
So, yeah, but okay. So training and support, that is outstanding. Tell us a little bit about some of the current E-2 visa holders that you guys have got. Maybe where they are from, their background, maybe a success story or two, or maybe a challenge that they've had as they were going through the process.
I would say we've worked with a couple. We haven't done a lot. I like what they can bring. I think it just gets down to having maybe setting clearer expectations about what's required to make the business go for them. The challenge sometimes, we had one fella who came in. I'll share a challenge and I'll share a success story, because we've had both. We have one fella who came in on an E-2, and he just considered the business an opportunity to basically buy his way into the country. And so he opened up his shop, and he wasn't really. He had hired a manager, and then his manager proceeded to quit on him pretty short after he opened. And he was not a strong communicator, but he was unwilling to hire somebody else. So he basically waited out his term and sat in the store and watched YouTube, and didn't really do a whole lot. As soon as his E-2 time was up for his visa, we've been working to sell the store. He's relocated to another state. And he's been a challenge, but unfortunately that kind of stuff can happen, and it's kind of impossible to get somebody out that way. It's really not the way we want to do it. We've had another one where we've got a challenge that's turning into a great success story. And here's where, when some people come into the country, there's just cultural differences between cultures. And it's a couple from Brazil. They're really, really sharp people. But the husband has been one who has sort of controlled the whole process, but he's not super communicative, and he doesn't share anything with his wife, who is the one who's running the business. And so whenever we call, try to talk to the franchisee, because he's the one who signs all the paperwork, he doesn't return phone calls. He's slow to respond. He's, but really it's his wife. So once we sort of figured that out, because his wife, Fernanda, didn't come to training. He came to training, but she's the one who works the business. So she really got put into a situation, courtesy of her husband, where she didn't get trained, but she's responsible for everything. So we've been reworking that whole process through with them. We've got her on the coaching and mentoring program. We're doing some additional training with them on the side to get them back up to speed. We've got our area developer or area franchisee spending some time in their store to retrain and reteach what's going on. And we're going to see very, very good results. They've been open for about 4 months, and they hadn't really done anything. But we'll see in 60 more days that store will be profitable, and we'll have a raging success on our hands. We're already seeing really, really positive results come out of it. But really, this was just a function of where cultural differences impeded the franchise to be able to take off.
Right? That makes sense. I mean, it can certainly be challenging at times, and I think that even with a good cultural fit, it can still be challenging. But the willingness of that owner to put the work in and
Hmm.
follow the book basically is what you guys have proven to be successful with 70 locations. Obviously, you guys know what you're doing. It comes back to the owner.
Well, as she's been starting to do the stuff we tell her to do, I mean, he wouldn't spend the money to have a grand opening. It's really tough to tell people where you are and why you're great. And when particularly you're in a marketing and a visual communications business like this, and you don't tell people where you are and why you're wonderful, it's really tough. So we've got them now planning a grand opening. We've got them doing some outside marketing. We've got a lot more action going on. And Fernanda, the gentleman's wife, she's been amazing. She's soaking it all up and she's taken action, and we're seeing immediate results happen. Really, really positive things happen in the store. And so we know it's going to go there. It'll be a great success. We just got to give it another 60 days to let all that stuff sink in, but we're going to see really, really positive results out of the store because her attitude is right. That's the biggest thing. Her attitude is really, really positive, and we'll have it turned around. And I think that's going to be a great success for us. I can't wait to share the final results when we tell you what's going on in 60 days.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to tell us the story and the opportunity. Are there any other maybe key points or things that you'd like to pass along?
Well, we've got a few things. I mean, if anybody wants to learn more about what our business is and what it's all about, I would certainly encourage you to look at our website, instantimprints.com/franchise. We've got lots of video and lots of engaging content on there to give you stuff to look at, and then certainly reach out to Thomas and see what he's got. He can help you with a lot of that stuff. It's really important. We've got a few different investment opportunities for people looking to come into the country. So for owner operators, we do offer a single unit type of business. We are a brick and mortar business. For others who are looking for something a little bit more substantial, who wants a slightly larger enterprise, we do offer a multi-unit pack, which is we call it a hub and spoke. That's a 3-pack. They're structured a little bit differently. And then we also have some master franchise opportunities for people as well, if they want to see themselves being a little bit more closely aligned as a franchisor themselves, either in their own international country or here as a submaster franchisee, where they can own the rights to a state or a larger geographic region, and they help recruit and support those franchisees as we bring them in. That's also an opportunity that's available. So I'm more than happy to share any other info and answer some other questions if you like.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, we appreciate your time and you telling us so much about the opportunity, and also where we can go to learn more. And on our end, usfranchisevisa.com. Be happy to set up a consultation with you, learn about your unique situation, and help you learn about franchising in America. Christian, thank you so much for being on the call today.
Thank you for having me, Thomas. It's been a real pleasure. I appreciate you giving me a little bit of time, and really looking forward to working with you guys too and your people. Thank you very much.
Our pleasure.
All right. Have a great day.